Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On the broadcast this Monday, a project that increases awareness. The Swiss Parliament just passed a resolution introducing an advisory system for consumption patterns called Bioware. Henceforth, as you, as a consumer, put unsustainably produced products into your online shopping basket, an immediate alert is sent to you. State-chosen NGOs contribute to that by identifying particularly detrimental goods. And on top of that, every follower of the project is provided with information on his personal ecological footprint. We will now take the consumer's pulse in Switzerland and therefore give the word to our correspondent, Eric, who is on the move out there in Thun. Good morning, Eric.
Hi, we're on the streets to ask people about their consumption patterns. Come and have a look. Hi there.
Hi.
I want to ask you some questions on how you consume goods. Do you consume any goods that are made in a sustainable way?
I don't know. I just usually go to the supermarket and buy what comes, but it's the cheapest. So I guess I don't know. Because there's so many labels and I just don't get it, and in the end I think banana is a banana, so there isn't a big difference in it, which one I buy. Well, yes.
Yeah, you just talked about food there. There's also clothing. You could buy clothes that allow children to go to school with the extra money that you put into the price. Would you buy such clothes?
It surely sounds nice, but I don't know where to get it, and it's just so many things, and I don't have an overview, and I'm just so clueless about that topic, so maybe I'm not the right person to talk about.
How much of the things you buy were made in a sustainable way?
Well, I must say I'm from Estonia, and in Estonia we don't import that much of foreign organic food, but amongst local farmers it's quite trendy, and well, we do eat their food.
So how about the non-food sector?
Well, to be honest, I haven't given much thought to it, so I must say I'm not that familiar with this area.
The Swiss Parliament voted today to implement a system that rates the ecological and social impact products and corporations have. It sends you an alert when you buy something that harms the environment or was produced in factories with bad social standards. What do you think about that?
Well, it sounds really cool, and if Switzerland can sustain this kind of system, it would be really cool if it would spread to other countries too.
Mr. Fentley, you as a National Council of the Green Party were one of the main supporters of the Bioware.
It finally gives us an overview of our own way of consuming, and all of a sudden allows us to become a more responsible citizen. The analysis of the data and the creation of your very own ecological footprint together with the alerts when buying bad products are really very, very good tools to show you and to make more people aware of social and environmental issues, right? No, of course, BA is not mandatory, but we expect it to spread awareness among all consumers, right?
With these words, I like to...
So, many thanks to Eric. Now let us go to the heart of Bioware. And I'm very glad that we have two real experts now today in the studio. Thanks a lot for having you here. So, well, let's start with you, Till. You are one of our consumer advocates. And, from what we have heard in the interviews beforehand, one could get the impression that consumers are kind of confused, not to say unconfident, with all the jungle of labels out there. So how do you explain that kind of feelings with them?
Well, many consumers care about the environment, many consumers care about social issues, but actually they lack information about the origin and production methods of merchandise. Of course, there are always some consumers who do not care about the environment, about social issues at all. But the more people have access to information, the more people start caring about these issues.
So yeah, it is all about providing access to such information. Yeah, Jonas, you are a representative of Declaration of Thun, a leading NGO. So, well, from Bioware, now from you participated in Bioware, so to say, from the very beginning. You were part of it. From a corporate standpoint, what do you think is important or could contribute to explain what is going on?
Well, yeah, of course, many organizations focus on fair and ecologic products, but it's really difficult to get this information to the consumer himself, to inform him on if that what he's buying is really ecological or fair. So that's why we looked for a way to give the consumer the data feedback he needs to become a greener and more sustainable consumer. Could we perhaps get the slide, the figure back? One more? Yeah, exactly. So we used our global data we have on all the companies to create a red list of companies that are non-ecological and that use unfair production methods.
Since providing apt feedback really inspires improvement, yeah, right. So, but yet, how do you manage to really reach the individual consumer in the end?
So what we did was we created Bioware. It's a browser plugin, but you can also use it as an app. And every time a user buys something, he gets a feedback. The information goes to this pool of data, and or to the NGO, and they'll give him a feedback on if that what he's buying is sustainable. And that way, if you always get a feedback, and you go, for example, you go to H&M and you buy a T-shirt that's produced in Malaysia, and perhaps the people in Malaysia don't really get any money for producing this T-shirt, and you see this information every time you buy the T-shirt. Over the time, you probably get a bit depressed, so you're probably going to want to buy something that is actually green and sustainable. But of course, you can download the app, but it's really not compulsory.
Well, Till, as we are in the age of big data, I think once that voluntary app goes to spread and is really popular amongst people, aren't there any privacy concerns? I think this is also something that, well, our audience is particularly wondering about.
Sure. Of course, big data is a huge issue, but for Bioware, it should be treated as a chance rather than a risk. We try to give the user insight about their own data that has until now only been used for the companies to promote themselves. The consumer is able to view his own data and also to compare his behavior with the rest of the registered consumers. But of course, every consumer stays anonymous. It's just about comparing, and by that encouraging feedback to compete with the rest and become greener and smarter every day. At the end of every year, the user will get a footprint from Bioware that reflects his lifestyle, his way of buying things.
Okay, so daring is caring, so to say. Well, now let me finish by asking you about Bioware and its future. How is it going to look like, say, in 5 or 10 years?
Well, I think I'll start with that. I think we'll start with publicizing all the company assessment information so the consumer can actually inform himself beforehand. So before he's actually going to the store, he can read about the store and make his opinion if he actually wants to buy what the store is selling. And of course, it's a global issue. So as many NGOs also operate on a global scale, we're thinking about cooperating with other governments all over the world and then really creating a grid of this, of our program, and by that, really changing something about the whole planet.
Let me add here. Another goal from Bioware is also to give even more back to the consumer, and we try to establish a rewarding system to kind of reward the consumer for the green job he's doing every day. We'll try, for example, to achieve this through a company reward system of sustainable behavior, as well as maybe through tax reductions.
But really, it's just about creating the consumer's awareness.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what Bioware is all about.
So, Jonas and Till, many thanks for sharing your insight with us. So before you now go and do your shopping list, stay tuned for the business section that is coming up right now on a project by Group 10. Thank you.
This was group number 9 with their coach, Fabienne.